I live in the city of Melbourne, a place known for beautiful graffiti and undying artisan coffee culture, and now a city that endured one of the longest COVID-19 lockdowns to date. In this video, I will talk about 6 things that I learned during this process. The things that made me feel like a winner, the things that I wouldn't recommend you do, and the key takeaways that would apply if I had to go through it all over again. Before I begin, I'm gonna ask you to do me a quick favor and just quickly tap that like button. Like you're tapping that person you can't wait to see, but now you're stuck in lockdown and you hate the fact that you're an extrovert because life seems to suck. And introverts win this circumstance, but it's okay because we're all in this together, but not really, because tapping isn't really something you need to do. When all you really need is a hug, but now no one can hug you because, you know, lockdown sucks. Yeah. Tap. Anyway, I'm certain by now it's not a surprise that the world is flipped upside down from the effects of this COVID-19 pandemic. I'm not going to pretend to know what you're going through. Wherever you are in the world, this pandemic will affect you differently. When lockdown was announced in Melbourne, my first reaction was, oh my god, I don't need to see people for a while. Phew. Being a bit more of an introvert myself, I thought this would be a great reset button to my social life. Boy, did I learn that it really wasn't everything I anticipated.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Although it's already been over a year since the WHO announced the pandemic, you may now be getting to your 3rd, 4th, or even 5th lockdown. It sucks. The world around you seems like it's moving so quickly, yet you feel yet again stuck because of your government decisions. So my first advice to you is to breathe. Like deeply, focused, and intently. You know what? Let's do it together. 3, 2, 1. I don't expect you to feel better straight away, but in that moment, the moment of calm, when you breathe, that moment will help you center your emotions and loosen the pent-up anxieties that you may not know you're holding on to. I'm sure you're no stranger to the offerings of meditation, but I know not everyone enjoys meditation. Heck, I sure as hell don't enjoy it either. But scientific research has proven that good breathing is fundamental to one's overall health and well-being. So, take a second when you can, and take a breath. Step outside your house and take a breath. Turn on a movie and take a breath. Do it once, do it 10 times. Find time to just take a breath. Be present, be conscious, and just breathe. To some, the word finance is scary, and that's okay. Take a breath, acknowledge it, and try. Finance is such a broad topic. But if you're watching this, then you're no stranger to modern civilization, and finance is a part of your life whether you like it or not. Opening a bank account is finance. Getting paid from your job is finance. Buying groceries is finance. But the irony is that even though finance is so logical, it can also be so emotional. I know so many people who love buying new things, but hate checking their bank account. If you're one of them, then this tip may be for you. Check your accounts and learn about what you're spending on. Although we're taking strides in the vaccination process, no one truly knows when this pandemic will end. You'll need to stretch your money out for as long as it can serve you. Look at what you've been recently spending on and ask yourself, did you want it or did you need it? Ice cream at the grocery store. Do you want it or do you need it? New game on Steam. Do you want it or do you need it? A disco ball at home. Do you want it or do you need it? A COVID-19 test. Do you want it or do you need it? Obviously, the answers to all this is subjective to your own experience. Only you know what's ultimately best for you. But asking yourself this question will beg you to ask yourself why you want it and why you need it. When you find reason, you find purpose. And we all know we need a little bit of purpose in our lives right now. And to really figure out purpose, we also need to learn about when to say no. Which brings me to my next point. To practice inhibition is to practice restraint. Or preventing inaction. This follows my financial tip on asking yourself the important question of want and need. Inhibition is like an emotional muscle, and just like your physical muscle, without using it, you won't get stronger. Now that you're in lockdown, your social circles are limited. It may be your partner, your housemates, your family, or even by yourself. So when something happens, for example, you're hungry and Uber Eats sends you a notification, see if you can stop yourself from pursuing it. Do you want Uber Eats? Or do you just need food? Have you considered cooking a meal? Cooking sucks? It's okay. Practice, fail, acknowledge your failures, and try again. Practice your inhibitions by saying no to Uber Eats, and try something else instead. With the resource of information at your fingertips, you can find a whole bunch of recipes online, like this website. A resource of recipes that my sister started to share with our family, and now contains most of the secrets in her cooking. Don't tell anyone. By the time you're done, you're probably too hungry to ignore the meal you made and will eat it anyway. Know you saved yourself the cost of 4 or 5 home-cooked meals by saying no to Uber Eats. And try again. And before we do try again, I wish I had a sponsor to thank like all the big name YouTube channels out there. But no, not me. Instead, my channel was demonetized a few months ago, which explains this random burst of videos late last year, where I tried to hit the watch time meter to re-render my channel monetizable. Alas, I was unsuccessful, and this is an uphill battle that I will have to work for again. Now that I got that little heart-to-heart off my chest, I want to tell you that I'll be giving away some free digital products for you YouTube nerds like me out there. I realize that there are some of you who watch my videos for inspiration, and some of you may be pursuing a YouTube career, and if you're in lockdown, why not start now? So as a way to say thank you for all these years of support, I'm gonna start creating some assets like this, and this, and this, that you can download and start using on your own videos. Instructions on how to do that are in the links in the description below. Think about it. When was the last time you played that guitar you have hanging on your wall? Or when was the last time you put together that 1,000-piece puzzle? When was the last time you read your favorite book? I mean, there's so many things that brought us joy when we were younger. Revisiting those activities will spark nostalgia that is very much associated with positive emotions. Like playing an old game that you were a die-hard fan of. During my lockdown, I started playing Final Fantasy XIV. I remember playing every game of that series since Final Fantasy VII, and have always immersed myself in the lore of the game. For me, playing Final Fantasy XIV allowed me to relive many of those memories while enjoying the gameplay of a brand new game. I love gaming, but I normally can't game for more than an hour at a time. I think it just tires me out too much nowadays. But the memory of playing Final Fantasy triggered such an overwhelming positive emotion for me. I managed to get lost in this world playing back to back to back hours on end, all while being able to go by my days stress-free. I look back at it now and I realize that this was my coping mechanism. As much as I love playing the game, it's something I would have never found so much joy in if Melbourne wasn't in lockdown. For the teenagers and young adults watching this, you'll learn that as life goes on, your priorities will evolve with age, and your goals become bigger, harder, and take a lot longer to achieve without clear focus. You'll also learn that you will be able to achieve anything if you're willing to put in the work. Just be patient and exert confidence in due course. And when you come out of lockdown, you'll realize that despite everything seemingly stopping, life goes on, and you'll manage your way back on the path you were once on. But this time, with a refreshed insight on what you may be able to do to get to your next destination. One thing that always puts my heart at ease is when I try to connect to the natural world. This can be anything from paying attention to the sounds of birds in the morning, to listening to water fall down a drain into a stream or a lake, or even the silence from the hustle and bustle of motor engines. That makes me feel at ease. This doesn't have to be your source of what nature means, of course. This is mine. Listen out for yours. It's around you. And if it's not, create it. Creativity is in the core of all human beings. And it's not always about being able to make videos like Sam Calder, or paint art like Red Hong Yi. Creativity is being able to formulate an opinion of something without the pressure of conforming to another's ideal. Creativity doesn't have to be unique, just expressed. Creativity is being able to communicate with or without words. Creativity is sharing an idea without running away from feedback. And creativity can be harnessed, and this goes back to my earlier point, through practice. Creativity is in you, whether you believe it or not. Now that you may be stuck in lockdown, practice creating something. Anything. I practice cooking up dishes with recipes and without. I practice making videos, whether it was watched or not. I practice talking to my partner in frustration and compassion. I practice how to dance, and we started a TikTok channel. The point here is that I spent my time practicing something, practicing to create. Failing most of the time, but finding some success as well. And success is whatever you choose to define it with. I wrote some recipes that I now share on cooking.com.au. I made videos that garnered a newfound audience. I love my partner more than ever, and now we have a dog named Tara. And I danced and danced and danced, and people found love in it. Find your creativity, because it is there. And now that you have time to wind down in lockdown, spend your time looking for it. Anyway, as part of my script for this video, I'm supposed to use this little segment right now to advertise for someone or something. Hopefully a sponsor for this channel will show up one day, but that day is not now. But I still want to practice including this section because it becomes second nature when I continue to make videos like this in the future. So today, I'm just gonna plug the Tofu Bears YouTube channel in here. A gay couple reaction channel featuring my family, doing whatever we feel like sharing. Because we share a strong love interest towards anime, we decided to claim that as a main theme, but really it's really anything. We just want to represent a gay couple channel that's not, seen out there so much. Recently too, we received some cool gifts from a fan from Japan with some super cool Demon Slayer merch included in the package. As much as we really appreciate the gifts, I don't really think we'll be able to keep them all. Our house isn't very big, and stuff like these socks are way too small for us to wear. So I want to give you a chance to take home some of this stuff. So how I'm gonna pick someone who will receive this is that I'm gonna get you to go to the Tofu Bears YouTube channel, watch the unboxed video, and comment, "I know Adam T" under that video. With luck by your side, I'll pick you for us to get in touch with so I can send you a re-gift. If you think that's a lot of work, then don't do it. It's okay. It's probably more work for me to go to the post office and pay for postage, but I'm practicing community building and paying it forward. You know the drill by now. Subscribe if you want to be notified when I upload, and tap that like button if you haven't already. Now, take a breath. You'll be alright. Until next time, love you.